jnana. Yeah. Now, hmm, let us go to the shloka number 17, which we have to start today. Sattva sanjayate jnanam rajaso lobha eva cha pramada moha tamaso bhavatu jnanameva cha. Yes, someone can read.
From the mode of goodness, real knowledge develops. From the mode of passion, greed develops. And from the mode of ignorance, develop foolishness, madness, and illusion.
Hmm. So here it has been told, sattva sanjayate jnanam. Jnana. So what is, if somebody come to sattva guna, then he get the jnana. The knowledge one attains by coming to the higher modes or the sattva guna. Jnana. So generally, our understanding about the knowledge is what we get the knowledge by studying. Material knowledge one can get by study, but the spiritual knowledge one cannot get just by study. And uh, so you might have seen the many people are there. They might they may read the scriptures. Many Sanskrit universities are there. Many students will be there in the Sanskrit university. So they may study the scripture, but they with that they might be drinking, smoking, and doing all things. And actually, they are not attain the jnanama. And so just by studying, one cannot attain the spiritual knowledge. Yeah. One has to come to sattva guna. Yeah. See, here yesterday, Dindyal who has taken one class in that he was speaking very nicely about this factor only. कि uh, कि सब when comes to sattva guna, one gets the jnanama, है ना? But that also just not sufficient. With that also required uh, the mercy of a spiritual master, है ना? Then one can get, one can understand the shastra, है ना? One can actually get. Yes, देवे परा भक्ति यथा देवे तथा guru, है ना? Is uh, somebody is completely have the implicit faith on the spiritual master and the Lord, then all the knowledge of the revealed, all the knowledge of the scripture is revealed into one's heart. And, and then, but with that, one more thing is required is what? To understand the scripture is what? Humility. Uh, because one may get a kripa, but one can uh, sustain that kripa, or one can maintain that kripa if one is humble. So there are three things I'm mentioning. The first thing is what one can understand the Shastra, one can learn the Shastra very nicely, one is Sattva first. Yeah. But just by being in goodness is not sufficient. With this, Sharanagati is what with the attaining, getting the Kripa of a spiritual master is also very important, which comes by Sharanagati. And, and now when one got the mercy of a spiritual master, one has to maintain that mercy of a spiritual master. For that, humility is required. Like you see South Indian Brahmana. So although he did not know how to read a Shastra, how to read Bhagavad Gita, but he has faith on his spiritual master and he understood the conclusion of the Shastra. And so that Saranagati of that South Indian Brahmana was there. And because of that Saranagati, he got the mercy of uh, the spiritual master. But here, we're talking about the first thing that, okay, at least the basic thing is required is what one receive the spiritual knowledge, yeah, Sattva Guna. One has to come to Sattva Guna. Yeah. So in Sattva Guna, then one can receive the Jnana. Yes. Yes. Any devotee can read this one
One
highlighted.
can see that even if one has enough money and adequate arrangements for sense gratification, there is neither happiness nor peace of mind. That is not possible because one is situated in the mode of passion. If one wants happiness at all, his money will not help him. He has to elevate himself to the mode of goodness by practicing Krishna consciousness. When one is engaged in the mode of passion, not only is he mentally unhappy, but his profession and occupation are also very troublesome. He has to devise so many plans and schemes to acquire enough money to maintain his status quo. This is all miserable. In the mode of ignorance, people become mad. Being distressed by their circumstances, they take shelter of intoxication and thus they sink further into ignorance. Their future in life is very dark.
Yes. Here Prabhupada is writing that if somebody may make one has the if one has the enough money and adequate arrangement for such kind of, there is a neither happiness nor the peace of mind. It means what? Okay, the money or the great arrangement of the a lot of opulences, they cannot bring the peace in mind. And, like you see Hiranyakasipu, he was having all the things. And, his name is also Hiranyakasipu. And having the arrangement for sense gratification and lot of money, gold. And but still he was not peaceful because he was dominated by the uh, rajas and tamas. So like many of the time, even sometimes the devotees may also think, okay, if I acquire the more money, then I'll become very happy. No. So it's not that money brings the happiness. It's actually when we brings comes to the sattva, then automatically there will be peacefulness and the happiness will be there. No? You might have seen that somebody is there, one person is working in some company, like let us say Microsoft or Amazon is working and he's earning a lot, but still then you'll find that he's miserable. First of all, while working he's miserable, and and then his desires are increasing. That's why he's miserable. And on another side, you'll find another person who is working in some simple company, but whatever he's getting, he's happy, satisfied, and being because he is in sattva, and he does not have those so many desires. And in sattva guna, one become very very peaceful and happy. And so now it is very important for all of us. Yes, actually, we it does not mean that we don't have to work, we don't have to do the studies and all that. We need to do, but it is very important that we balance our material life and spiritual life. But the focus should be there in the spiritual life because actually the joy and happiness will be there if we practice a spiritual life very sincerely. Uh, So we cannot squeeze out the happiness from the material things of the world. Uh, So now, uh, the generic discussion has been given about Krishna, about what happen if one is in a particular mode. है ना? So in this sloka number 18, it has been given. Urdhva gachanti sattvasta madhya tishthanti rajasa jaganya guna vrittista adho gachanti tamasa. Yes. Any devotee can read.
Those situated in the mode of goodness gradually go upward to the higher planets. Those in the mode of passion live on the earthly planets, and those in the abominable mode of ignorance go down to the hellish worlds.
Yes. तो here urdhva gachanti sattvasta. है ना? तो here urdhva means what? Upper, upward. है ना? So what is the meaning of being up? So there is a up means one is going to the upper planets, or up means going in the higher consciousness. So both are considered here. So somebody in goodness, है ना? तो he can be higher consciousness means what, he may take birth next life in the human birth only, but in a some brahmana family, some very good families where the goodness is very prominent, and or he may go to the higher planets also. It is about both. It is not just about, or in down does not mean just to the animalistic life, but it can be in the human life, but going to the very low class of human beings family. And so here, hmm, the lowest quality, the mode of ignorance is described here as abominable. The result of developing ignorance is very, very risky. It is the lowest quality in the material nature. Beneath the human level, there are 8 million species, bird, beast, reptiles, trees. And according to development of the modes of ignorance, people are brought down to this abominable condition. The word tamasa is very significant. Tamasa indicates that those who stay continuously in mode of ignorance without rising to a higher modes. है ना? So they means consistently they are in ignorance only and they want to remain there only. So their future is very dark. है ना? But then Prabhupada is writing, there is an opportunity for man in mode of ignorance and passion to be elevated to the mode of goodness. ऐसा नहीं कि वो इटर्निटी के लिए इग्नोरेंस में ही रहेंगे या पैशन में ही रहेंगे. दे हैव द चॉइस, है ना, to come to the higher. The God Lord is given the free will by which they can either by free will or by their intelligence or what we say through culture, knowledge, so many other factors, and they may come to the goodness. And but here Prabhupada is telling that very easy way they can come to goodness is what? The system is called Krishna consciousness. And but one who does not take advantage of this system will certainly continue in the lower modes. And because in the current scenario in the world, the passion and ignorance is increasing so much, is rampant. And it is Krishna consciousness is there saving hundreds and thousands of people. And we all were actually and, living in the hostels in the first year. Some devotees came and caught all of us, and otherwise we would have continued. And the rate of ignorance and passion would have increased like anything. Uh, So now, the sloka number 19 to 27, the Krishna is going to speak about how one can transcend these modes. Yeah. So initially, uh, I was talking, I talked about that how some of the application point of view in our personal life, that how we can come to Sataguna, then how one can go from the Rajoguna, Tamoguna to Sataguna. But here Krishna is directly talking about how one can go about all the three modes. Then, so, yeah. So श्लोक नंबर 19. नान्यं गुणेभ्य कर्तारं यदा दृष्टानुपच्छति गुणेभ्यश्च परं वेति मदभावं स्वधिगच्छति. Yes, the devotee can read.
When one properly sees that in all activities no other performer is at work than these modes of nature, and he knows the Supreme Lord, who is transcendental to all these modes, he attains my spiritual nature.
Yes, read the highlighted one also.
One can transcend all the activities of the modes of material nature simply by understanding them properly, by learning them from proper souls. The real spiritual master is Krishna, and he is imparting this spiritual knowledge to Arjuna. Similarly, it is from those who are fully in Krishna consciousness that one has to learn this science of activities in terms of the modes of nature. Otherwise, one's life will be misdirected. By the instruction of a bona fide spiritual master, a living entity can know of his spiritual position, his material body, his senses, how he is entrapped, and how he is under the spell of the material modes of nature.
So here, Krishna is telling that a person properly see, है ना, that in all activities, no other performer is at work than these modes of कारणम गुण संगस्य. कारण क्या है और reason क्या है when we are coming in contact with a particular mode, and the one is able to see these things, and then now goodness is acting, now rajoguna is acting, now tamoguna is acting. But when one will be able to see, when one comes in contact with the spiritual master, and when one receives the knowledge from the spiritual master, then one will be able to see how these modes are functioning. It means what? As a devotee for all of us, uh, very important that we hear regularly from the spiritual master, hear regularly from Srila Prabhupada. So by hearing regularly, we will be able to see the things in right positions. And like all of you might have seen, there's this statement I told also before. To the degree knowledge is fresh, it becomes very easy to act upon that knowledge. And to the degree knowledge is fresh, and it means what? Like just right now I heard the some lecture, and immediately my consciousness will be very proper. At least for 1 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, I'll be very conscious whatever the uh, particular things I've heard. Like if I heard about attentive chanting, at least after hearing that lecture, my chanting will be good. And or if I heard the lecture about how uh, the lust covers our consciousness, at least for few hours, actually, we will be very conscious that we our mind does not go into the things. And so that's why hearing is very, very important because hearing makes us alert actually. And so Krishna is telling that one is able to see the things in their positions. And when one hears from the spiritual master, and by that what happen? One will by doing like this, then one will be able to come out by the three modes over a period of time. Yes, somebody else can read unless one has the help of.
Unless one has the help of a spiritual authority, he cannot understand in what position he is actually situated. With the association of a bona fide spiritual master, he can see his real position, and by such an understanding, he can become fixed in full Krishna consciousness. A man in Krishna consciousness is not controlled by the spell of the material modes of nature. One who has surrendered to Krishna is relieved from the activities of material nature. For one who is able to see things as they are, the influence of material nature gradually ceases.
Uh, one is able to see things as they are. So when one can see, when one hears from this present, because our own intelligence we cannot see, we need to hear. You know? Through the intelligence of Guru Sadhu Shastra, we have to see. Now, can you tell from the Shastra any example where person was in uh, so much into passion and ignorance, was getting carried away, but then because he heard from the spiritual master and he surrendered to spiritual master, he immediately transcended all the lower modes. Yes, any examples?
Mridari.
Exactly. The Mirgari. How abominably Mirgari was acting actually. He was killed. And he was thinking that is right. So this is the problem with the Rajoguna and Tamoguna. The whatever one does, one thinks that he is doing right. He is convinced about it. And, but then when he heard from the uh, Narad Muni, and then he could understand his uh, sinful activities he is performing and what will be the consequence of that. And then immediately, his whole thought process changed and his actions changed. Yes, any other example, Prabhus?
Hare Krishna.
Purandan.
In the Nilpo.
Not directly spiritual master, but in case of King Rahugant, it comes
Uh,
in Bhagavatam that because although he was a very good king, he was little passionate, and that's why he like because he was king, he was passionate, and he spoke that sarcastic words to Bharat Maharaj.
Mhm. His consciousness came to right position just by hearing from the Jada Bharata. Yes. Any other example? Puranjan also, Valmiki. Yes, any other?
Maharaj while fighting with Yakshwan.
Ah, so then what happened? Who guides the Dhruv Maharaj?
Manu.
Swambhamanu.
Chambu.
This is the one of the very powerful example where Dhruv Maharaj was completely got carried away by that desire to fight and kill the Yakshas. But then Swambhamanu association, Swambhamanu's direction, then his whole thought process get he give up that idea of fighting and killing the Yakshas. Uh, Yes, any other?
चित्रकेतु महाराज जब वो बच्चे के लिए लेमेंट करते हैं
Yes, Chitraketu Maharaj also. I know. Because in Rajoguna, Tamoguna, he was became very attached to that child and he was crying. And so, but immediately what happened? When the Narad Muni's association he gets, he did not. He got enlightened. Well, and we see that how the pure devotees of the Lord does not get affected. The same incident you see Srivas Thakur's house. His son died, but he did not get affected. And yes, so we can understand through here by hearing from the spiritual master once immediately transport or what not transcend the lower modes and comes to higher modes or even transcend uh, all the three modes. Uh, So it is very important to hear from the regularly hearing is very important, but because generally we uh, remain into Rajoguna and Tamoguna, and so that's why Prabhupada is telling that for one who is able to see things as they are, and the influence of material nature gradually ceases. Actually, this statement touched me very much when I was in first year, second year of my Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada, the many places writes this, seeing the things as they are. And then whenever I would read Prabhupada books, and after reading, then I would go with those statements only and try to see the things. And, so we have to become very good observer, and according to Shastra. That is called Shastra Chaksu. When the jiva, this which I think Baldev Vidyabhushan writes, when the jiva, the seer of the things as they are, does not see any doer other than the gunas. And so when one sees that he is able to see that how three gunas are functioning, how he is in Rajoguna acting, how he is in Tamoguna acting. You know? So like one time we were in the Bombay locals, and that was early morning time, 5 o'clock, Brahma Muhurta time. And we because for the seat, the two persons started fighting. One was giving slap to another. He was giving a slap to this fellow. And so I was thinking, this see Brahma Muhurta time they are doing activities of passion and ignorance. Uh, so why we were able to see? Because as a little bit practice of Krishna consciousness, immediately devotees are able to see, okay, this is Rajoguna, this is Tamoguna. And now next, Gunan Etan गुणान् एतान् अतीत्य त्रिन् देहि देह समुद्भवान् जन्म मृत्यु जरा दुखे विमुक्तो अमृतमश्नुते. No. So then Krishna is saying gunan etan atitya trin. No. When an embodied being is able to transcend these three modes, no, which is dehi deha samudbhavan, no, which is associated with the material body. It means what? Deha samudbhavan. With the body, they are born. And what? As soon as the body has come, with the body, then three gunas has also come. And so then result of that is what? Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi. Janma Mrityu Jara Dukhe. He can become free from birth. Uh, if one can transcend all these three modes which has come from the Deha Samudbhavan, है ना, then one can become free from what? Jan, birth, death, old age, and their distresses. And then what he can attain? Vimukto Amritam Asnute. He can become Vimukta, and he become free from these all Janma, Mrityu, Jara, and Dukhe, and then he can taste the Amritam. So what is the meaning of Amritam here? The Amritam does not, many of the time, the Amritam is word is maybe used in many places in many ways. Uh, like sometimes people, somebody may use the Amritam word, Amrit milk, Amrit water. And so something very delicious may also called as Amritam. है or in heavenly planets, the Somarasa or that kind of nectar, they are also called as Amrita. So they can just prolong the life. But here Amrita means what? Immortality. है ना? So one can attain the immortality if one transcends the modes. Immortality means what? One goes beyond this world. है ना? And what is the meaning of immortality? It means what? He attains his eternal position, his spiritual position, being as the servant of the Lord. And so that is the meaning of Amritam here. Yes, somebody can read this highlighted one.
Although, al-
Piyush Rathi.
yeah, although one is within this material body, by his advancement in spiritual knowledge, he can be free from the influence of the modes of nature. He can enjoy the happiness of spiritual life even in this body because after leaving this body, he is certainly going to the spiritual sky. But even in this body, he can enjoy spiritual happiness. In other words, devotional service in Krishna consciousness is the sign of liberation from material entanglement.
Hmm. If we can, somebody practice this, uh, somebody become advanced in the spiritual knowledge, then he can become free from the modes in this life only, and he can enjoy the spiritual happiness being in this body. Uh, so somebody recently, we were there in Mayapur. So that time, one student asked one question to Jayapataka Swami. Maharaj, you have to go. Your body so much problem is there. Don't you feel the pain? And don't you have get affected by this? And so the Maharaj told spiritual life is so joyful. And so what I was able to understand that Maharaj is completely like he's so much relishing the spiritual life, or he has completely transcended these modes, and that's why he's not affected by these all things. No, no. Another thing I think last time also I said the 50 years before what Prabhupada told, and to the particular devotee, at what time, what place is still able to remember in this bodily condition. Until unless one has transcended the modes, how one can know? And we cannot even remember 3 days before what another devotee has spoken. And we sometimes even forget what our spiritual master also told. After hearing the lecture of spiritual master, also we may forget it. But this personality, I was able to say that he is able to remember. Why? Because he transcended the mode and on the spiritual platform completely. And now, the further to the, till now, Krishna spoke about modes previously, and then previous two slokas, Krishna spoke about the how one can go beyond the modes. Yeah. So now Arjuna is specifically asking that how exactly I can go beyond the modes. What step I should take? है ना? So this is because Krishna has given the generic description about the mode beyond the modes. Uh, so if somebody goes beyond the modes, then he will be Vimukta, he will be Amritamasnute, he will be getting the nectar. But how exactly I should go beyond the modes? So that's what Krishna Arjuna is asking. Arjuna vacha केरलिङ्गे त्रिगुणानीतान् पतितो भवति प्रभो किमाचार कथं चेतां त्रीन् गुणान् अतिवर्तते है ना. So Arjuna asking three questions to Krishna. The first question, Kera Linges. And here Linges means what? Characteristic or symptoms. And what is the symptom of a person and who has gone beyond the three modes? And answer is given in sloka number 22-23 for this question. Then Kima Acharet. What is the meaning of Kima Acharet means? What is his behavior? First is what is the symptom? Second is what is his behavior? Be, है ना? So that is given into 24-25. And then Katham Chetam. है ना? How does he transcend the modes? Is the third question. है ना? That is the Katham Chetams. है ना? So what is the symptom? What is his behavior? And how exactly he has transcended the mode? And so that answer is given in 26-27. Prabhupada writes in the purport that in this verse, Arjuna's questions are very appropriate. And Krishna spoke previously about so much about the modes, and then he told, okay, one goes beyond the modes, he get the Amritam and all that. But Arjuna is asking that practically, merely batao, how should I transcend the modes? And so that's why Prabhupada is writing, the Arjuna's questions is very appropriate. He wants to know the symptoms of a person who has already transcended the mental modes. What is the symptoms of the persons who had already transcended the modes? This is the first question. And second question, how he lives, how his activities are. Are they regulated or non-regulated? And third question, then Arjuna inquires the means by which he can attain the transcendental. What way he attained the transcendental nature. Unless one know the direct means by which one can be situated always transcendentally, there is no possibility of showing the symptoms. If one can really already transcend, then only one can show the symptoms. Right. So all these questions put by Arjuna is very important. The answers is given here further. So there is a 4 slokas combined here together. The 22-23 gives the answer to the first question, the symptoms, and the 24-25 gives the answer to the behavior. So what the symptoms of the person who has transcended the modes? Krishna is telling Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Prakasam cha pravritim cha mohameva cha pandava na dveshti sampravartani na nivratani kanchati udasina vadasino gune yo na vichalate gunavartyante tevam yovat tishtati ningate. So here Krishna is telling Prakasam cha pravritim cha mohanam eva cha pandava. Prakasam is we saw previously also. The Prakasam is when there is a Prakasam, when one is Sattva Pravati, when one is Rajoguna. Mohanam, when one is Tamoguna. So Krishna is telling here that he, O son of Pandu, he who does not hate illumination, attachment or delusion. It means what? He remains in all the three modes. It means what? Sattva Rajoguna and Tamoguna. What is his um, symptoms? That no dvesti. Then sampravartani na nivritani kanchati. What is the meaning of sampravartani? So all the developed na nivritani, nor stopping development kanchati. Udasina vat asina. It means what? udasina, he remains neutral. है ना? It means what? In either there is a goodness is taking place in his life, or there is a mode of passion is there, or ignorance is there. He remains, he is situated detached. है ना? It means what? That he is able to see that now goodness is there functioning, now ignorance is there, now passion is there. है ना? In our day-to-day life, it is very important for all of us that we observe our inner world. And inner world means what? The mental world. है ना? Mental world means what? What is our thought? है ना? So what kind of a thought is there? And we need to understand that we are not our thoughts. है ना? So when there is a lust is coming, so we don't have, if we identify with the lust, I am the lust, है ना? Then lust will conquer us. है ना? But we understand, जैसे अभी आपका घर है, उस घर में सब लोग जितने भी लोग रह रहे हैं, है ना? उस घर के अंदर कोई भी व्यक्ति है, इसका मतलब वो नहीं, इट्स नॉट नेसेसरी दैट ही इज योर मैन, इज योर रिलेटिव, नॉट नेसेसरीली, है ना? इट माइट हैव हैपन दैट सम थीफ हैव एंटर्ड इन द हाउस, इट माइट हैव हैपन दैट सम the person guest has come in the house, so not necessarily that he is your family member. The same way, every thought coming in our mind, है ना, it does not mean that every thought is those thoughts are our what the family member, or those thoughts are very favorable to us. So, getting, or that those thoughts are our own. No. So there may be certain thoughts um, which uh, which is very favorable and we want it, and but there are certain thoughts which we do not want them. है ना? Like lusty thoughts are there, too much passionate some thoughts are there, which one is able to see that this is I do not want, but still it is there. And but if we pay heed to that, then that will affect us. But if we don't pay heed to that, then that will not affect us. And like lusty thought is coming. If we contemplate upon that lusty thought, then that will conquer us. But we do not contemplate about it, then it will go away. And that's why Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur says that whenever the wrong thought is coming, then neglect it. And don't pay attention to it. If we pay attention to it, then it will trouble us more. And so somebody may say that, Prabhuji, then how to come to that, ob- become the good observer of our own thoughts? And so then the more we try to come to goodness, you know, then we are able to see we can become more good observer. We are able to see our thought process. So sometime it may happen that at a particular incident, already the thought came and we acted upon the thought, है ना? We got carried away with that thought. At least हमको क्या करना चाहिए? Not at that time, but we can later on. At least we should see that I acted in wrong way, but what was my thought? है ना? So I acted in this way, है ना? So then one will become, oh, I thought like that, or I associated that person, that's why my thought become wrong, and due to that I acted in this way. I should be very careful to associate with that thing like that. So like that, we need to become conscious of our consciousness. Man. So that's so this person, the symptoms of a person is what? This udasino. He's detached from the different kind of a uh, thoughts which is taking place in his mind. Then what is the behavior of that person? The behavior is what? Sama dukkha sukha swastha sama losatas kanchana. है ना? तुल तुल्य प्रिय अप्रियो धीरस, तुल्य निंदा संस्तुति, है ना. तो बिहेवियर हैज बीन एक्सप्लेन हियर व्हाट इज सुख दुख, his swastha, samas dukkha sukha swastha. It means what is equipoised in sukha and dukkha. And this many times Krishna explains it, either be second chapter you see, or the 12th chapter you see, again this chapter you see, and Krishna talks about this. है ना, कि मात्र स्पर्शास्तु कौन्तेय शीतोषा सुख दुःखदा agama पायिनो नित्यतम. Behavior of such person is that he is equipoised in all the both kind of situations. Neither is not excited by the material things when he gain, है ना, and when he lose also, that time also he does not become depressed, है ना, because for him the spiritual reality is actual reality, not the material reality. He understand that material life these all things will take place, and sometime when things will be on our sides according to our desires will take place, sometime that will not take place according to our desires, you know. But here there is a two things has been mentioned which is specifically tulya ninda samstuti and then manav apmana tulyas, है ना. तो निंदा और संस्तुति, he is a समतुल्य, it means what he is equipoised in निंदा and संस्तुति. So what is the ninda samstuti and man apman? The ninda samstuti means what? It is about what others are doing, है ना. निंदा संस्तुति means what other is doing. It means uh, others is praising or other is criticizing. So Ninda and Samstuti is about what others are doing, but about Man and Apman is what about what we are feeling. है ना? How we can or what one is perceiving. Like for example, कोई डिवोटी हो सकता है कि आपका संस्तुति कर रहा हो, ग्लोरिफिकेशन कर रहा हो, है ना, लेकिन आपको बहुत बुरा लग रहा है, तो ये भी कोई ग्लोरिफिकेशन होता है ना. तो उसके हिसाब से तो वो संस्तुति कर रहा है, लेकिन आपके हिसाब से वो आपका अपमान कर रहा है. अपमान इज अबाउट व्हाट वी परसीव, है ना. एंड some ninda samstuti means what others are doing. So this we need to understand. Okay. So these are the behavior of the, so mostly the behavior means what he remains equipoised in those when one is transcended the modes. Okay. Somebody can read this highlighted one.
The next question concerns the dealings of a terms and mentally situated person. The mentally situated person is affected by so-called honor and dishonor offered to the body, but the transcendently situated person is not affected by such false honor and dishonor. He performs his duty in Krishna consciousness and does not mind whether a man honors or dishonors him. He accepts things that are favorable for his duty in Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, he has no necessity of anything material, either a stone or a gold. He takes everyone as his dear friend who helps him in the execution of Krishna consciousness. And he does not hate his so-called enemy. He is equally disposed and sees everything on an equal level because he knows perfectly well that he has nothing to do with the material existence.
Mm. So see, Prabhu, if we take material things to be very seriously, then we will get affected. You know? But we need to understand that material things they are changeable, they are perishable, and duality is going to be there. And they are relative. So we should be conscious about that. We should not get affected by them. And sometimes there will be praises, sometimes there other time criticism will be there. Sometimes there will a lot of money will be there, other time no money will be there. It is the material world. We should be serious about the spiritual reality. And so then only will not. Yes, we can do our jobs and get the money for our needs and all that, but our consciousness should be in the uh, spiritual life, spiritual reality. So now, sloka number 26, 27, which is that how exactly that person is transcending, what is the process by which he is transcending these modes has been explained, which I think two slokas are there. So that is talking about bhakti, so which I'll discuss in next class, है ना. because here Dipin Anpu has come, so his class is going to begin, Srimad Bhagavatam class. I have to go. है ना? And anybody has any question also will take in next class. Is it okay? You can note down. ठीक है. Thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.